Hi guys, Josh from TT101. Today I want to show you guys how to mount a scope onto your rifle. Now it's really not that hard to do, but I get asked this pretty much on a weekly basis from my customers at the Big R in Homer Glen, Illinois on how to go about doing that. And I figured I'd make an informational video for you guys, my YouTube subscribers, and for my customers here at Big R. And what you have before you here is the Springfield Armory Saint. This is my firearm. And I have topped onto here a Vortex Diamondback. This is a 4 to 12 by 40 scope, as well as a Boresighter scope mount. Now, the only difference with the configuration that I'm going to show you guys today is I'm going to use a Nikon P-Series scope rings. These are very affordable, very high quality scope rings. These come in at 50 bucks. This Pepper scope mount is coming in right at $100, which is pretty pricey for a scope mount if you ask me. And then the Vortex Diamondback is coming in right at $200. So I'm going to be mounting this all on top of a Ruger AR-556, and I'll bring the video in much closer so you guys can take a look at that. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys how to bore sight your rifle, because that is the easiest way to get on paper, so you're not wasting a bunch of ammunition when you're at the range trying to get sighted in. So you guys stay tuned for an interesting video. Alright guys, I hope you guys can see pretty well. What I did first is I took my rear flip-up sight off, the Ruger flip-up sight, and I also locked back the bolt so I can have the charging handle move freely. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to take both of your scope rings. These ones are the kind where they slide on. There's also kinds where it will have this piece that moves, and then you can just go like this and put it right onto the rail. This is okay. I don't really prefer either or. It works just fine. So now I'm going to slide these on. I'm going to get them roughly where I might think I'd like them at. And another way to tell is by actually putting your scope onto your gun. And what you're looking at is you're going to want to see how far back you actually want your scope for your eye relief, as they call it. And when I say eye relief, that's going to be how far away your face has to sit to actually be able to operate and see through your scope. And I think right there, and right in line with the castle nut, I'll go right there. That would be just far enough back, and then I'll get both of these lined up where they should be. Now what you're going to want to do then is take your scope off, and you can set that on the side. Then you have your two long screws that come with this. You're going to insert those guys and just kind of finger tighten them so they won't move anymore. It's why when you slide it on, it has these grooves all at the top here. That is what holds it in with this bolt, so it doesn't walk around on you. And then you're going to take your large Allen key that comes with this set, for the Nikon set that is. You get a small one and then a large one. So then you're going to take the larger one and then tighten them all the way down. This will just take me a second, sorry guys. So that one's good. And the other thing is, you don't have to go nuts as far as tightening these down. You do not want to strip these out. They are a real pain in the ass to get off if you do strip them. I've done that before and it's no fun. All you got to do is get them just nice and snug, because the recoil impulse on especially with a 5.56 or a 2.23, there's barely any recoil, so it's not going to knock these things around to the point where they're going to really loosen up. Now, what you're going to want to do next is take your scope and put that back on, and I like to make them pretty much equidistant in between your turret here. And then what I'll do is I will take one of the scope, the top ring mounts, and I'll set that on the top with a screw that's already been placed in it. And then I'll start to hand tighten one of those on, just so it doesn't move around or anything like that. I'll get the other screw here. Now I'm not tightening these down all the way. You don't want to do that, because this scope, if I had it on here like this, that wouldn't work. And in a second here, I'm actually going to take a bubble level, and I'm going to make sure that the scope is actually level on the firearm, so it's not looking all cattywampus as you're looking down your scope when you're trying to shoot the gun. Again, you want to tighten this down by hand, not wrenching it down. I've got my last screw here. Now this Nikon scope mount in particular, these just use 2 screws per scope ring, which I kind of find nice. I actually went a little too tight on both these. Now the Burris mount that I use on my Springfield Saint, that uses 3 per scope ring. I kind of like that as well. That really cinches it down, so you know it's not going to move around or walk around on you. But like I said before, the 5.56 and the 2.23 has virtually no recoil. Now what I'm doing again is I'm lining this up equidistant from the turret. That's just my pet peeve. I like to have it pretty much equal distance. Then I take the bubble level and I get that roughly, that's pretty much right on right there, in place. And what I'm doing is, if it's canted from side to side, it's going to look really odd as you're looking down the scope. So then now I am going to tighten one down pretty good on each one. And what that does, that won't allow the scope to move from side to side. And then you can start by staggering and going to the other one. You don't want to just tighten down each one. You want to kind of move from side to side, kind of like on a car. On tires, you don't want to go one to the other, to the other, to the other. You want to do it in kind of like a star formation. At least that's how I like to do it. Then you can really start to cinch these down. And again, you don't really have to go nuts with these guys. You do not want to strip these out. You can also mess up your scope itself. And another thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of this, these rings that I'm using are 1-inch scope rings, and this scope has a 1-inch tube, and you want to match the correct scope rings to the right tube size, or else you're going to have a whole world of problems and it's not going to work for you, excuse me. So I'm thinking we're looking pretty good now. Yep. And that's going to be basically how you mount the scope. And that wasn't hard at all, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this part of this video. And now I'm going to go and show you guys how to bore sight the gun, which is also very easy as well. So you guys stay tuned. All right, guys. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Now it's time to bore sight the gun. And the first thing that you want to do is take off the caps on your adjustment terminals on your scope. I've already done so I can have access to those. Now I'm going to use a quarter to actually adjust those. You can see the slots in those. That's what allows you to adjust it. Then you're going to take your bore sight and you're going to insert that at the end of the barrel right here, which is simple enough. You're going to make sure, you want to make sure that goes as far in as it can possibly go. Then you're going to take your hand and tighten her up to turn the sight on. And then after that, all you got to do is line up the reticle with the red dot. Now I'm at 50 yards. I already used a laser rangefinder to figure out exactly how far away I'm sighting this gun in at. So now I'm going to take it to the scope, and I'll let you guys look through the scope with me as I sight this gun in. Alright guys, so I hope you guys can see that red dot on that Carhartt box way down there at 50 yards. Now I'm going to show you guys how to adjust the scope to line it up with the red dot that you see down there on that box. Now I'm going to start with the top terminal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the reticle that is going horizontal move up to where the red dot is. So I'll start doing that right now. I'll try and keep everything in frame here. And as you can see, it's starting to move up. That's just about right in line right there. There you go, now you can see it. Let me just adjust it up a little more. There we go, that's looking really good. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move to the right terminal. As you can see, my hand is going to the right now. And now I'm going to adjust the, what would be the top reticle. It's going to go to the right then, because the red dot is all the way to the right, and that will line up everything and be good to go then. So as you can see, it's zinging right over to where that red dot is now. And having a bore sight makes this 10 times easier to get on paper. Like I was saying before, this isn't going to be exact, but it's going to get you grouping on paper, and then you can make those fine adjustments at the end. And that looks pretty darn good if you ask me, especially looking through a camera, through a scope. It's kind of difficult to do that, guys. So yeah, that's really going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it a bit informational. And like I said before, I get asked this question quite a bit at my job on how to do this, so I figured I'd make a video for you guys as well as my customers. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, guys. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and smash that like button for me, because I definitely took a good chunk of my day to do this video for you guys, to help you guys out. And don't forget to look in the description below for my Amazon affiliate website. All the sales that go through that help to keep cool content like this coming to you guys. So you guys take care and stay tuned for more interesting videos.